Hello Leo and welcome to June, your June reading. So, I've shuffled and laid the first layer of cards. In your underlying energy, that can be the past or what explains what you're living now. We have, these three came out together. So, the Chariot, the Three of Wands, and the Nine of Swords. That is just that energy here. Because the Three of Wands is what we expect coming towards us because of the moves from the past that we've made. You have anxiety around that. Maybe from a decision. Chariot is when we align ourselves to move towards a direction. So it's like if you've taken a decision, you have aligned yourself to go towards something, and now that what you see coming or what you are expecting coming brings out anxiety inside of you. And because for the Chariot to be successful, your conscious and your unconscious, your light and your dark inside of you have to be aligned for those two horses to go in one way and be successful. If they are not aligned, if like your untamed animalistic ego or unconscious beliefs or something like that is not tamed, is not aligned with your will, they're going to go in two different directions, and that can bring a lot of anxiety in the way things are unfolding. Because before the three there's a two, therefore there's a decision, and then that's the results of that decision. So maybe in the past there was something, a move being done that is worrying you right now, and it's worrying you in a way that this is your masculine emotional side, the one that masters these emotions, and there's like conflict there. You could have conflict with a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio. But that can just be your own stability, emotional stability, that is being pulled because kind of the consequences of that decision that you made in the past that brought a lot of anxiety also brought conflict. People arguing or different opinions or just inner conflict per se. After that we have the Hermit. Not the Hermit, sorry, the Pope, the Hierophant. So that means that has an effect towards a commitment, towards an institution, law in the sense of the law of man. It has that kind of discernment, that kind of the power in our 3D world, and it's affecting this. So in the now, here you have the Princess of Cups with the Nine of Wands. So being very guarded after all of this, that kind of tribulations, either where you're working, if you're working in an institution, or maybe with a commitment you had or something like that, you're being you're very guarded. You're protecting yourself. These wands are all the battles that he has won, and he's ready to face whatever. And there's this communication coming, but you're kind of guarded about it. A loving communication, something that has potential. It can be a little recognition, it can be a compliment, it can be just something that brings us pleasure through a communication. After that you have the Nine of Cups. So this, even though you are guarded, two nines here, it does make you happy. It does make you solid. Solid in your capacity to defend yourself, but also solid in your emotions. So whatever was happening here, there's in the month of June, there will be a solidity. You will hold on to the decision you made in the past or something like that. After that, we have in the now again, the Seven of Cups. So that is mental projection with an emotional baggage behind it. It's foreseeing ourselves in where this all can go. But since you are so solid here, this can be healthy projection. And in the future, there you are with the Seven of Wands, defending your position. So maybe you're going to take a position after all of this, and you're going to defend it. Defend your decision, defend your passion, your will, what you really want, against naysayers, because you have walked a certain path that puts you on top of this at a higher ground than these other people. So you are very defensive. But by doing this, here 4 came out. So we have moving on to calmer waters. Here a healing card where things are being tempered and prepared. And we have the Two of Pentacles and the Moon. So all of this asks for a real need to center yourself, to walk in the shadow, but with your knowledge of what you are fighting for, what you are actually defending. So you can move to calmer waters there with your wisdom, knowing that everything will come in a certain time. Because here, with the Two of Pentacles kind of in the middle with the Moon here, okay, the Moon being that kind of quest of going within. We don't have all the information. There's events that asks us to walk the path even if we're not sure where it is going. This can bring your emotions a bit up and down, because there's this this is Jupiter in Capricorn, so there's this abundance coming, this energy that wants to expand coming, but in a structure of the Capricorn ruled by Saturn. So that's why it is very important to be centered. Here it's very important to be centered in knowing our emotions, knowing what we want, knowing what we're fighting for, so that we don't get lost in maybe our shadow self, that here needed to be aligned. The Moon, everything that is in the subconscious, or events that we don't know, the unknown. So when we're walking in the unknown, when we're walking in the night, do we listen to the tame part of ourselves, our animalistic instinct there, using that strength, the real strength of our higher self, dictating the path to take, seeing truly what is by our sense, because we cannot see it with our eyes, we don't have the real information? Or do we fall in fear and in attacking what we're not sure of, like attacking for nothing, and therefore ruining our chances? So you see how the need to be centered is going to be very important in the future. And after that, I have the Princess of Wands, which is like the Page of Wands, and the Hangman. So whatever you're fighting for, that you want and all of that, is maybe going to be on a hold for you to get that enlightenment, for you to get all the information, or to see that situation in a different path. It is also bringing your mind, descending your mental into your mental intelligence from conflict into something solid. So really understanding that. And because you see the illumination he has behind his head, it's the same illumination that is behind that moon. So by walking that path, you will, and this can be done inner or outside, but this will bring you understanding and illumination to give you after that the go to walk with that new project. That can be a job, that can be being open and receptive to the communication you've been waiting here. You've been waiting for maybe for this communication, and you really wanted it. You knew it was there. That can be an understanding, that can be a project, that can be something passionate, something that has to do with your will power, with your fire. Bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Wands. So that's that. Really, there's a lot of will to go towards something, even though inside you're conflicted, worries come up about it, but you're defending yourself, and it really asks you to go center yourself, let life prepare it. Temperance, you know, it's like when you temper metal, you trial it by fire, and then you hit on it until it transforms. Weak metal becomes hard metal. That can be a blade. That is tempering. It's that trials of life, and that is preparing something for you and healing at the same time. True understanding, and there is going to be an evolution towards calmer waters, but there's a real asking of you to go within, center yourself, really look at what is in the shadows for you. If your decision was really aligned with what you wanted and what you believed. So let's clarify some cards for Leo. I call upon my guides. I call upon the divine. I call upon the light. I call upon spirit. Help me clarify this reading for Leo for the month of June. Okay, show me that Nine of Swords. What are they worried about? This one. Worried about a decision. A decision that can be made for you or by you. That's what is worrying you. It was a strategy, it was a plan, and there's a decision, something maybe you cut off, but this is what is worrying you. A decision you took in the past. What is the conflict about? Page of Cups. Maybe it was the conflict is about that new emotional venture, new emotions that bring conflict inside of you, that came from that decision. What was it about? I'm not so sure, but it affects your emotion. Here we have it there, and there you're super guarded against it. Show me the Pope, the Hierophant. Show me the Pope. We have the Four of Swords and the World with the Pope here. So the Pope being a commitment, an engagement, an institution, something that binds us, grounds us to a certain place and act in a certain way. There's like a healing happening about it. retracting oneself to try and really understand and closing a cycle. So that means it's like if you made a decision, maybe if this is a career-oriented reading, that would be like giving your demission, like you're leaving to follow something that you wanted, but then it brings you all worries because it doesn't go exactly like you thought it would. And so there's this healing, and it's trying to understand the disappointment about it. Or you were expecting something. Maybe you were expecting a promotion, or you were expecting an offer, and there's conflict, and it's here. You're healing about it and closing a cycle. If it's about a relationship, we're talking about the same principle here. Nine of Cups. What is the Nine of Cups? Why is that emotional satisfaction? Is it emotional satisfaction? There's a lot. Okay. So they're showing again that Seven of Wands. They're defending your decision, defending your belief, defending what you want to invest in because of that choice that you made there. See that choice in the underlying energy. Here I have the Queen of Wands. So that's fire sign. That's you, like a Leo woman or man, because it's the feminine side. So that means this is the part of what is attracting, what is feeling things. She's very it's like the witch of the deck, because she can sense things around her, and she can sense that it is slowly coming towards her, something solid. And that is what is bringing you emotional satisfaction. So after you're closing that cycle and you're healing, an offer that maybe was shaky in the past is coming back. You're guarded, you're defending your point, but this is something you attracted. This is something you wanted and went for, made the decision, and it is going to be solid, but slowly coming. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest knight because he checks point everything on the way. Seven of Cups. What is the Seven of Cups? But that is movement, and you're probably sensing that movement going your way, and it is in June going to bring you that wish fulfilled. I knew it was coming. It was good for me to guard my my position. It's like, if they would have offered you something less than what you would have expected when you made that decision to go in that direction, you stood your ground. You stood your ground. Seven of Cups. It's like not making a compromise. Okay. Here, a lot of communication, and we have the nine, fast communication. So there's going to be a lot of back and forward, fast communication here and now, maybe asking you to make decisions on the spot there. And this is going to make your imagination go wild. This is provoked by all of those. This can be internet or meetings or whatever. But there you are, following your fire in the here and the now, having to make these decisions in the here and the now in a fast way. There you're defending yourself again. Seven of Wands in the future. Show me, Spirit. What are they defending? You're defending the ground you've gained. Tower. Okay. What was not, that can be a shock. You have all of these things happening. Then you can have a shock happening where things are crumbling, but you're still keeping your ground. What is the Tower bringing? That can be an understanding, a clear view on something, and you see that there are things you thought were solid that are not solid, and they are crumbling down. They're putting the moon again with the Tower. So that Tower is going to happen inside of you. There are going to be beliefs, visions, the way you saw things that are going to crumble. And there, see that quest that you're going in, the need of being very centered, finding your solid foot so that you can carry the abundance that wants to come in, the expansion that wants to come in. And it is going to finally come in, but it's like if there's a lot of disruption and fast action around it, all based on the decision you took in the past. The Tower and the Moon, the Tower is like asking us to, it is that road between the mental intelligence and overcoming our animalistic side, our fears, our what is untamed inside of us. Exactly that. Okay? So the Tower is that road where the mental intelligence is kind of making what is not solid, what is not real, crumble, to overcome this and get an enlightenment and an understanding. This is understanding through that quest, and this is understanding like in a shock, really fast. And that is what you're standing. It's like if you leveled up, because this is on a higher ground. You know, it's like you know what you know, and all the old fears or the doubts or the unknown is going to be crumbled, and it is really asking you to ground yourself and to center yourself, because it seems like things around you are going to move a lot. When events go fast like this, and there's like discussions, and you have to hold your point and stand your ground, you always have to refer to yourself. Is this really what I want? Do I still believe that? Am I centered? Because you can see it like a big wind, like a cyclone, and you're a tree. If you're in the branches, you're gonna be whipped left and right, and lose yourself completely with emotions up and down, losing stuff, losing control. But if you're centered, you're in the trunk, and there nothing moves, in the sense that it is stable and straight, vertical. So, and this is how you can use that energy, and it is going to temper yourself, and you can center yourself and absorb to be able to plant that new project. See those two pentacles? They can be the offering of the universe, and it is the law of the universe here repeating itself and asking you to center yourself so that it can be grounded, so that you can receive those ships here. Here, maybe that's the enlightenment you're gonna get. What is the Hangman? Show me the Hangman. for Leo. Show me the Hangman. Seven of Cups again. We have the Ace of Swords. Ooh, this is pretty, see, in the bottom. So, the enlightenment you need to get is on this, the emotional projection, emotional mental projection that is going to happen fast with communication here, and that's your willpower in the here and now, and this is it, and we're moving, I feel it, and all of that. What you've projected, the opportunities and the imagination of how you put yourself in the future, there's gonna be a pause, and you're gonna need to revisit it, to bring your mental intelligence in the concrete, have that enlightenment after going into the moon and passing through the tower there, to rebalance things and see it differently. This is on that, on all those communication and maybe mirrors that were shown to you. And then we have, and you're gonna get clarity, you're gonna see it clearly. And then we have that Princess of Wands. So where is she going? What is that? That same one that you've been defending, that you wanted. Show me the Princess of Wands. Want to show me the Princess of Wands, Spirit? Okay, Ten of Swords, that's good. And we have the Emperor. So yes, it's a scary card, but it's also a 10. That's the end. It's like if all of this tribulation brought you to the Ten of Swords, made you live the Ten of Swords. This is the dawn of a new day. Here you had the 9 with all your worry, your anxiety, sleepless nights, and this is exactly going at the end, the culmination of that, so that you can start again with your Ace of Swords here, your understanding after your Hangman there, with that new path. Because the princesses or the pages, they come after the aces. So once the ace comes from the universe, somebody has to grab it and start walking on that new path. And when we walk on a new path, we're at the level of the page. We don't start walking right away as a king, because it's new. So we're walking as a page, bringing it forward, planting it to see it grow and learning from it to the stages. So here, and it's very interesting that it's with the Pope here. I'm gonna make you see. You see the hand gesture of the Pope. He's doing like this. This means what you see is not all that there is. And him, that is the hand gesture he's doing here. What you see is not all there is. Because this is when we go, there's our 3D reality. And here you do a lot of inner work. So you went into your shadow and you took the information and you brought it up. You had that last month. You remember the drawing I showed you. This is exactly that, but appearing in the concrete and getting the understanding of it so that you can walk. So it's in the way you project yourself, in the way you imagine the future, that you took decisions and things like that, and then you start doubting yourself and you have to defend your point. This is a bit the following of that. And those decisions, those holding your grounds, crumbling what is not real, mastering your instincts and your fears, centering yourself is going to bring you to your new path and finishing a cycle that could have been hard, of anxiety and things like that. But it's like a bit when we find our foot, when we find ourselves, the road in front becomes much more clear, and there's a lot less anxiety in the decisions we make, because we can feel them here. We can feel them and know, understand, and know exactly the moves that we have to do. So, and here we have the Emperor. So a real master card. Ruling your world, ruling your things. So it's like if you did inner work, you went inside, and it's brought up a lot of disturbance in your life, but you're keeping track and you're keeping straight with where you want to go and who you are and how you see things. There's going to be a readjustment because there's an end of a cycle there. You went all the way to the Ten of Swords. Under the moon 2 times, the Tower, the Hangman. A real readjustment here and mastering of yourself. And then you're going on your new path. So you're probably going to get news. If we're talking spiritual growth, it's a leveling up. If we're talking work, there's going to be tribulations, offers that are not to your level. You're going to hold on, knowing your value, knowing who you are, centering yourself, and then finishing that cycle so you can walk on a new path, understanding how you perceive and project in the future. So it's a bit of a continuation of what happened last month for you, Leo, because we have a bit of the same thing, but with more, I would call, tribulations there. But it is, if we look at it like that, with the King of Cups, Nine of Cups, it is your emotional solidity. And having to really go within and ground yourself in your truth. Yeah. So, Leo, this is your reading for the month of June. Enjoy the summer, and thank you for all the subscribes and the comments and the likes. And I'm gonna do personal readings again. The descriptions is gonna be in the bottom there, and I'll see you in July. Namaste.